Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Raha Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who have taught us this truth, peace, and salutation to the chosen and elect. I'm Ariel Zabat out of the GMS Dallas camp. And today, the lesson I'm going to is actually Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. This is Yahawashi's return, and I'm just gonna, start from the beginning. This is Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 1, and it reads, "And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night." And this is Esdras, which is going into the angel Uriel, giving instruction to Esdras in chapter 12, and told him to, be still, that he was going to give him a vision, and he had commanded Esdras to wait on him. So that's pretty much where 13 is beginning, is at the the end of chapter 12, on Second Esdras chapter 12. So this is just a vision he waiting on, and we're going to move on to verse 2, and it reads, "And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him." And that man is Yahawashi, that you read, that waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And the thousands of heaven are the angels, all right, which are the armies of heaven, okay? And let's get that account in Revelations. Actually, yeah, I'll just get it here. Let's get that in Revelation chapter 19, verse, if I'm not mistaken, verse 11. And it reads, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and that's Yahawashi. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war." Verse 12, and it reads, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And the meat, I think, is in verse 14, but we'll read 13 as well. Verse 13, "And he was clothed with a vessel dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High." All right. And the meat is in verse 14. "And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses," and those are the angels, "clothed in fine linen, white and clean." All right. So that's, another account that's showing you that those are the angels. And I have another account, which is in Psalms. Let's get that. Psalm 68. There we go. Psalm 68, verse 17. And it reads, "The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place." So you see that those angels, and that's with Yahawashi, that we're reading about in Second Esdras 13th chapter, is talking about angels. All right. And then I have one more account. I have one more account. Hold on. That is, I think it's in Luke. That is in Luke, the 21st chapter. All right. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 8. He says, this is Yahawashi speaking. And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Yahawashi. And the reason why I'm pointing that out, because when you read here, let's go back to 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, in that same verse, in verse 3, it says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So this is where Luke 21 and 8 come in at, meaning that we're going to see him the same way he left, when he died on the cross and rose again and went into the chariot. So he's going to come back the same way. And the first thing he said is, be not deceived. And let's go back to that again, Luke 21. That was my point of bringing that out, Luke 21 and 8. And it reads, and he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and the time draweth near. Salaki for saying Christ. I am Hamashiach, which means anointed, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. So that's one thing that you can look for according to prophecy, is that, the chosen and elect is not going to be deceived of these things, because we understand what the prophecy said, that, all things that's going to be trembled that were seen under him. So this is something, we're going to actually see on the return of Yahawashi. All right. Verse 4, and it reads, 2nd Esdras 13th chapter, verse 4, and it reads, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth, and when it filleth the fire. And, those are the laser beams, coming off the chariots. Okay. And what this is going into, so as we was reading in verse 3, where Yahawashi, coming back with the angels, the armies, the heaven, the host of heaven, and they coming back, for judgment. And this is what we're seeing right here. I read it again, verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. So judgment was going out to everyone that see it fit, according to Yahawashi. All right. Verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And what's going on here is this is World War III that's going on. And, this multitude of men, that it says from the four winds of the heaven, this is World War III going on right now, and they're fighting each other. But when Yahawashi returned, and this is this vision that Esdras is seeing, that, when he come, they're gonna already be fighting, in World War III. They're gonna be fighting, but then they're gonna stop, So that's pretty much what this is saying. And let's get that account that this is talking about World War III. All right. Let's go to Joel chapter 3, verse 2, and it reads, it says, let's start from verse 1. It reads, for behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And we know the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom were in captivity at different times. And this time here, in Babylon the Great is where we being oppressed together. So this just letting you know that time period, that when this was going to take place. So that's how we know this is World War III is speaking about. It says, I will also gather all nations and we'll bring them down into the valley of Yahawashi, and that's over there in the Middle East. And we'll plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. And we understand who's done those things, starting with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the top banking families, the Rothschilds, the Rocker family, and they over there today saying that they're Israeli Jewish, Germans. These are Edomites that's over there in their land. And also you have some of the heathen nations over there as well too. All right. And that's why they're fighting with each other. We're going to get one more account too that this is talking about World War III in Revelation. All right, this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. And it reads, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. And this is, the Esau, Edom, and other nations, over there fighting in World War III. And then they're going to, stop fighting and try to fight Yahawashi and the angels. So this is what this is describing. This is what's going on. They're going to turn and try to fight against the chariots and, going to lose. They're going to get utterly destroyed, as the scripture says. All right. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras. All right. This 2nd Esdras chapter 13 and verse 5. I read verse 5 again. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the earth. This is World War III going on, to subdue the man that came out of the sea, which is Yahawashi. Verse 6. And it reads, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Now, this mountain is the chariot that is Yahawashi chariot. And it's so big that he's trying to see the ends of it. And it's kind of like if it's a clear sunny day and there's no clouds in the sky, then all of a sudden, a storm about to come, you'll see a wall cloud. And sometime when you just look far in the sky, it look like it don't even end, because that's how big the wall cloud is. So that chariot is almost similar, just a analogy of what Esdras is saying, that it didn't have no ends, pretty much. He couldn't see where it was graven, like how it looked or how far it was, or how big it was. It was just that big, okay? Verse 7, and it reads, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. So that's just him again saying that, the chariot was so big he couldn't see the ends of it. Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, which were the armies from all the nations in World War III fighting against each other, were so afraid, and yet there's fight, meaning that these nations are going to stop fighting each other in World War III, and the Most High going to put a spirit on them to fight. They're going to stop, probably being shocked, afraid, but at the same time going to have, a hardened heart and want to, continue to fight, and this is going to be coming, from the leaders of the armies, All right, verse 9, and it reads, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. And what's going on here is Yahawashi, he didn't take a a fighting stance. Like if you was a boxer, you know, before y'all square off, the boxer pull up his arms, you know, get in his fighting stance, his legs, like, you know, he about to get ready to attack you or whatever. Or even put his hands up as in defense mode. So Yahawashi neither stood in a defensive or offensive position. He didn't take a stance, okay? And that's all that was going on here. But only, verse 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it has been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And what's going on here in verse 10, these are the laser beams coming out of the chariots, which is concentrated heat, you know. And that's, a similar to really an allegory when it said, because it didn't literally come out of his mouth, but that's what he's describing. You know, this is just coming, basically, this was a green light for the chariots to make a move. And that's pretty much what's going on right here. Laser beams coming out, hitting its targets, all right? Verse 11, and it reads, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and a great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which are the nations that's in World War III fighting each other right now. This is that multitude which was prepared to fight, and burn them up, every one, so that upon a sudden and innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, meaning that the destruction was so quick and flawless that you couldn't even tell what happened, you know. But only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid, meaning they were stubble, they were charred up. All right. And let me get I think another count for that in Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. All right, let's start from verse 2. And it reads, O Lord, Yahawashi, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, Yahawashi, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years make known. In wrath remember mercy. Verse 3, the Most High came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Salah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of praise. See? All right. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. All right, what verse was I on? Okay. And again, verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden and innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of the smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So Yahawashi utterly destroyed the armies of all the nations in World War III, which is a flawless plan. And this is the beginning of, Yahawashi taking the crowns, from all of the kings and noble ones right here. Because without an army, with an army, one thing you have, it's just like when you get pulled over by a cop. What a cop has the authority to do is to subdue you. And once you do that, then you can take over and have your will against them. So you take away that army, the military, their power, their might. Now, they can be subdued. How are they going to fight? So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Ra'ah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and elect. Shalom.